Hello my crafty friends, it's Krista here from Second Chance Creation. I don't know what's going on today. This is my fourth attempt trying to make this video. I know things happen on a Monday and a Friday, but Thursdays I'm trying to get these journals up in my Etsy store, and I did an update on my phone, and the camera, I haven't moved my stand, but the camera when I put on video just keeps flipping over, so I have got no idea what's going on. But anyway, so maybe fourth time lucky. My next journal, button and bows. I've used a lot of original items, as in buttons, yarns and magazine pages from 1949 or 1954, I think it might have been, can't remember. I've got a selection of them, and you know, you can photocopy them, you can hoard them, but why? I mean, I'd like to share them. This is a beauty. It's a soft, like a hard but soft cover. It has a hidden spine, and it's an envelope, covered envelope with some with that lovely cardboard with a handmade paper that I shared in the videos where I've made the accordion folders with, envelopes with. I used some curtain fabric, upholstery fabric, and had pretty pattern on it, and I've just loved the colour on it. So, and I just covered it with some sheer lace so that you can actually see, you know, the pattern of it, and use some of my laces and fabrics, and yeah, it's glued and stitched, very sturdy. I've used a paper bag, okay, which I collaged the front with the old book page, with the magazine pages, just to make it sturdier. And behind, picking out tattered doilies, crochet doilies, trims, various trims and fabrics. Love using this fabric. And yes, corrugated cardboard, just a strip, mainly because I wanted to pick up some of the colours that are in the journal, like, you know, got a bit of blue here, a pink, and I don't have those sort of ink, so I've used chalk, pinks, and yeah, a little bit of blue there. So and I used an original yarn. It's very old. Come from it was living in a Horn sewing cabinet, 95-year-old lady. She's in a nursing home now, so you can imagine how old that is. Darning thread, and so I used it. Okay, it's aged naturally, so which is fantastic. Use some really old buttons, and this is in front of 2 layers of doilies, paper doilies, and I've made a pocket. Put one of the images from my book on here, okay. Little bowl pin that holds a few little extra buttons on here. And the tie is my favourite soft lace trim. This is a very old piece of lace as well. I've got heaps of it, which is great because I can use it forever and ever. And it's the that sort of colour. So you can take it off. You can take it off so it's not in your way. So yeah, so the pocket itself holds a lovely tag that was gifted to me. Someone stamped this image on. I don't have that sort of stamp. And so what I did was I had this little snippet of fabric, and it always lived in this. Okay, my little junky little bowl here. And had blue on it. So I used some blue chalk and just coloured that in. This is a button shirt card, and I've just ripped that off to put it on here. Very old tape measure here. Did some stamping. I think this is Tim Holtz Sapphire Blue, I think it's called, and a bit of seam binding. So that just lives in here, and you can put more in there if you wish, because it's, you know, it's sort of it's got that gusset on the side. So yes, so let's venture in and have a look. It has 2 signatures, and I'll leave the amount of pages in the description box on my Etsy store, because I can't remember now. I should write it down, shouldn't I? The front cover is, of course, that handmade paper from that album that I found in an op shop. I explained, and I've made some accordion envelope folders with that. So that's what that is. And a bookmaker's note. And I used, this was so pretty, out of a magazine, but I've popped some ink over the top because it was really white. Very old button, okay, just here. I just love the colour of it. And yes, my buttons are stitched. Here are, I made a little flip, and that's supposed to represent like suspenders. And I've only got one suspender, so it wasn't enough, so I made it look like something. Used some old buttons, and I actually stapled it to the envelope, and you can journal on the envelope itself. Bit of masking tape, washi tape, and then on the back, little snippet from my fabric that I have, and of course coffee dyed guest check, so you've got quite a few pages there. Snippet, a bit of a trim, pages of all pretty well coffee dyed. My little banner paper clip, I've had that for quite a while actually, and I've just put a little snippet on embroidery, and I left this so that you might want to journal on that, you know. Journaling card, very popular image. I think a lot of people use them. And this is a decoupaged, a key from a napkin on here. This is my little piece of fabric that I've got, and made some little envelopes, and I just did a bit of stamping, stitched around, and a dainty little trim, and that just holds that in place. And then the other side, I have another tag and another piece of blue, and I wanted to make that represent, you know, sort of make it so that fits on there. Very old book page. It's that brown and brittle, I thought, but I wanted to use it. And you can journal on this, and backed it with coffee dyed paper. So that, and this is a test printing page from the printer, and I thought, oh, might as well keep that. That looks pretty cool. So yeah, that's what that is. And dictionary paper. Here I've made a little tuck spot. This is one of my images from a book. Big bow there, and those times when they had those dresses that they've got that little puffy bit on the back. A tag, just snippet from my book as well. Sewed, backed it onto some more paper. You can just see the stitching there, but you've still got plenty of journaling space on that. Here I've made a notebook cluster, and it is attached. You can't take this one off, just from various papers that I had. Bit of doily, pretty little variety of buttons just there. Bit of a bow. And this is a book page from a book, and the front page of the book had this awesome print on it. And I thought, oh, you don't want to really cover that up, do you? So I've put this one in from my book, and I've used some tulle because this looks like a tulle dress, doesn't it? Just looks so awesome. Tuck spot, little pocket. This is the painted paper towel that my friend made. Magazine picture, bows, buttons on the boots, and just a journaling card that I've sort of inked up a little bit. This paper here, I experimented. I photocopied a napkin, and I scanned a napkin and then printed off on paper. It didn't come out how I wanted, but I'm using it anyway. And I've got a little side belly band, corrugated cardboard, and I've actually attached this tag on there, some handmade paper. And this has a picture of the buttons, but I actually stitched on the buttons. They're not real, but I actually stitched on the buttons so that you can feel the thread on it. Made this little booklet, and of course, you know, belly band and little envelope flip just there, so you've got plenty of journaling space. It's in there. It's from a book page, of course. Fits in there like that. I didn't want to cover this fabric because I really like it. All I did was put a bit of seam binding to pick up the colours of the buttons, the cloth, and the handmade paper. Here I've just got a little bit of a trim there. Love this. I think I'm just getting to the end of that one. Each cent of the 2 signatures I've done with lace. And, yeah, it's a 3-stitch pamphlet stitch. And this is another cluster little side tuck. This is a fabric tape book page. I think this was a pattern paper. Same with this, music, cardstock, doily trim, and just another old button. Okay. Like how that turned out. Here I've got another paper clip. Okay. And this is a decoupaged. Just on here. And I flip that over just to make a little tuck spot for this little ticket, bus ticket. And I used paper ruffle, music paper, a little bit of bling, and onto an old rustic paper clip that holds this altered envelope. Okay, you can journal here, We've got a couple of tags here. Okay, and if you want to use that tag, you just swing that over and you can actually use that tag as well. And that just goes in here. So here's a wedding picture. Isn't this just super? So I thought, well, let's dolly it up with some actual wedding applique. Beautiful old vintage pearl button. Bit of a leftover trim. Some fabric that has got these little roses like flowers in it. And then I used some really old pearl buttons from the stash. And I've just put them on embroidery cotton. Not embroidery, crochet cotton. And just so that it dangles onto some organza bow. But aren't they gorgeous? Yeah, I mean, when you feel things that are really old, you sort of wonder what sort of life they've had, don't you? So, and then I just pop that back on here to hold it in place. And that just goes back in here. I've just got to check to see if I'm still in view of this video. Oh, I am, okay. All right, so now that's that. So lots of journaling space. And what you've lost, I've made up with tags and tucks and notepads. Another one of my images from a book, and I've kept that pretty flat, but made a little side trim here. Just tucks back in here like that. Just so that you can see it coming out. Dictionary paper, a little flip. This is actually paper that you get from the deli, where they wrap up, you know, they wrap up your meat in a plastic freezer bag, and then they wrap up the other paper. Well, I use that, I keep that, and then I coffee dyed, and it's got that nice crinkly effect. Book page pocket. Here I've got some, they're like playing cards, but they're not, they're blank on the back. And I've just inked them up a little bit, put a brad in, a little bit of washi tape just there, and they just pop in here. A little bit of a collage. And then on the back I've put a cutlery bag, and I've put some pattern paper, a little bit of a doily applique that I inked a long time ago, old button, and here's some more of that really old weathered tape measure, a little bit of tattered doily there, and this holds a little tag booklet. It's got some clear buttons, some lace, some fabrics, and all you do is just undo the bow. You don't have to pull it out, but you can journal in it, okay? Just like that. It's got the masking tape, and then you just tie it back up again with a bow. Just like that. Here I've got just a lace flip. It's the front of an envelope that you can journal on. It's been used, so you can see the stamp. Lovely old button. I've left a lot of strings and cotton strands. If you don't like it, just cut them off. Now this was meant to be a little tag that sort of tucks in, but I found her and I've just popped her on there, and I thought, well, it's no use covering her up. So, but you can flip it down and you can journal on it. and still tuck something in if you wanted to. Snip it. So I've stitched it down. This is a beautiful mint satin ribbon. Okay. And just tucks in here. A little flip. And then on the back of this envelope, I've just attached a page from an old diary, 2016. Coffee dyed. You can journal on that as well. This is a side flip, just for a change. Little cluster corner tuck. Just hold some extra lined coffee dyed paper. Had this floating around. Sometimes the dreams that come true are the dreams you never even knew you had. Isn't that so true? Tim Holtz girl, we all know her. Cardboard, doily, very old button. And this is a piece of napkin that I decoupaged on there. I just like the font of that. So, and some cheesecloth, and that just tucks in here like that. It's quite a big tuck, so you can put quite a bit in that. There's an altered time card, and I made that into like a little flip, so you can journal on there. Doily, linen cloth, some beautiful tulle, little flip. There's the back of the time card, and I've got to fix this because I've just noticed that's coming out. This is a napkin that I decoupaged, my favourite colour. I've got to sort that one, fix that one. Here's another tuck, side cluster, okay. Book page, tulle, fabric, magazine pick. I cut that out from a book, I believe. And what did I put here? Oh yes, and some pattern paper. Another little flip. And this is another little pocket. I did a collage on a big calendar page with all various magazine pictures, and one of them had teddy bears in it. So, and I've had this for ages and ages, so I decided to use this piece, make it into a tag, buttons and bows, you know. Has to have a theme, my journals, they have to have a theme. I think this is just a breakfast menu. And I've actually glued that onto an envelope. So you can actually put something in there as well. And journal on it. So, and this is wrapping paper that I slightly embossed. One of my flowers from the garden I've just popped on here. Snippet from a magazine. And this is a magazine page as well. Centre of a signature. Another... I love this cluster, lots of laces and trims and bits of applique, book page, music paper, cheesecloth, tulle. This is actually also from a book page, and I did a bit of stamping on there. Lovely old button, and I used one of those registration cards for our from our bait stations I mentioned in previous videos, and I've just made my little envelope flip here. Okay. And the button, check out the button. It's got this pretty little pattern on it. It's good to be able to use all these old buttons. Now this one is backed. It's not a tuck. I've actually backed a bag. It's like a cutlery bag, quite thin, like glassine. So, and because it was peeking out, I wanted to strengthen it. So I've got this picture, put on some cardstock, and backed it onto some of that painted paper towel and paper ruffle. Very old button, and flip her over, and you've got a cluster of those glassine bags. This one holds a tag from my book, and I use some diamond dots as buttons. I mean, how cool. I have a book that is got these really old, I'll show you. Look how old this book is. I can't find a date. Oh, there it is, 1947. Yes, and I think the back page was where was coming out. See how it is there? It's all, what's this? And that's what I used, the shadow line. And that's come out of that book, the shadow line. I did a bit of stamping, cheesecloth. And I'll tell you about these the backings of some of these tags in the next video. Buttons, some really pale mint lace. My little envelope cluster is an original stamp I popped on here. Okay, because what I did was I tucked that, so you can use this also as a tuck spot. Okay, the big pocket I did stamping. It's a New Guinea stamp on here as well, and I've got this time card tag I made, and I flipped it up, decoupaged it. This is an actual playing card with a butterfly on it. It's one of my coffee dyed tags, and another little envelope cluster. This is from my napkin, and I actually cut that out. This whole piece, because it had the stamp on it. I thought, how cool was that? So yeah, so this just pops in there. So yeah, so you can even put something under here if you wish. Book page pocket, and again, you know, a little tag, and you can put a little tag behind this little corrugated cardboard cluster. It's packaging, of course. My little envelope, this is the backing of those rubber stamps, and I keep them. They make good little tucks, and just a little envelope just here. And check out this button. Let's see if you can see this. Can you see that button? There it is there. Can you see that button? My camera, I tell you, it's there. It's a triangle button. Isn't it amazing? Can't believe it. I might have to stand up to make sure that you guys see all this. Okay. Just a bit of came out of a book, and I've made a pocket on the other side. It's from a magazine, Colourful Life. This was printed already on there, and I used some sheeting and a paper ruffle, which is on the other end. And here I've made the pocket. It's got a couple of tags, snippet from my book. Okay, buttons, bows, and this is the bonnet, and that just all fits in there like that. This is a flip. Now I can't remember where I got this from. I can't remember. I'll have to see where I got this from. But it just flips out like this, and so does the whole page. Okay. And then you also have a pocket. Okay. Coming to the last page here, the inside cover, the envelope that I've used. Okay, so what I've done here is I've actually had this piece of blue paper, and I've just made it so that you can journal. You've got more journaling space than just the envelope. Okay. And then I've opened the side, and I've used some wallpaper, making sure that you see there's some wallpaper back, and I've got some script from books and magazines, bit of a trim, little buttons, and I've just put on some paper stock that I had, and when I cut that out, I made one size smaller, so it just backs onto there. And then on the back here, this is one of my fabrics, and it had a postcard image on it, so I cut that out, backed it onto some paper so that you can have another belly band, and you can put some goodies in there as well, just like that. Okay, this is a CD envelope, and I've put a paper ruffle on here, stamped, a little flip out so you can journal on that as well. And this holds a cabinet card, really old buttons on there, especially this one. Use that image, and yes, it's just, I think this was packaging paper, because you can just see, I can't remember what it was it Tim Holtz? and it was already that colour, and I thought, how cool. And I've just inked the behind it, and I've just popped that family on there. Well, you know, buttons and bows. And then, of course, one of my images from the book, and I've just put this little scrap piece of paper in there. It's a little tuck spot, little flat tuck spot. And that's the end. That's the end of that one. And it does stand up. Oops, I've got to put those back. It does stand up, okay? So, but I'll leave all the descriptions in the information in my Etsy store. So I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough of this one. I had fun. I enjoy just to get engrossed making these journals. Yeah, so until the next video, won't make it too long because my time's going to run out. And I'll see you then. Bye for now.